Thank you, Mr. President. I'm one of those people who can be the only person in a phone booth and be lost, so it's not unusual for me to be overlooked, and I don't even think about it. I wasn't going to say anything on this at all, other than to give the mantra of the King Cobra, which is, the King Cobra wastes no venom on dead or fleeing things. This is going nowhere. But I think a comment or two needs to be made anyway. Senator, the guy back there who knows I don't like him, said that he's not sure whether he's the youngest person. Well, he knows he's not the youngest, but he doesn't know what order as far as from that point onward would be. There's no doubt that I'm the oldest person here. So on an issue like this, the old person has to speak up for the older settlers in the population. This is not a matter of carrying on or carrying out the public's business. That's something that a political party would tell its minions. This is a matter of internal organization. Pure and simple, nothing deep, nothing profound, nothing mysterious. It has nothing to do with being a representative democracy. I'm sure the ones who say they want this publicized would not say they want the organizations that support them and have members who don't want their identity disclosed say that they'll disclose the identity of those people so the public knows who is supporting them and who they are likely to cheese up to. So that they just say words without thinking. Would they want to publicize every time they talk to a lobbyist and what they say? The lobbyists are the ones who are going to influence them. Do they want the content of every phone call made to or from their office publicized? That's supposed to be carrying on the public's business. You're using a public paid for instrumentality. Are you going to do that? This thing is going nowhere at all. And my colleagues, as much as I have disparaged you so far in this early session, and there will be more to come, don't worry, my colleagues are too smart to go for nonsense such as this. And for somebody to stand on the floor and equate internal organization with the operation of the Republic is profoundly naive, profoundly simple-minded, or profoundly disingenuous. They need to go back to high school and take some civics courses. We are all adults in here, and they bring this childish drivel and think they're going to make somebody say, well, yeah, I think I need to let them know everything I do because I'm representing the public. You're going to tell them every time you go to the bathroom and what you do when you're in there? That's business. You're going to tell them that? You see how foolish this is? Somebody needs to say these things. And others think them, but they won't be in the record. The public needs to be aware, in the interest of transparency, that there's at least one person on this floor who's going to call this kind of drivel exactly what it is. They don't have to call any of these senators personally who say, I never talked to the Republican Party. You can read the newspaper. They make it clear what they want you to do. And I've seen you do it. Don't forget how long I've been around here. Other people may not, or if they were here, they were not paying attention. I've seen so much hypocrisy on this floor that would be enough to fill this whole room if each act of hypocrisy were the size of a microbe. You all know it, and you'll see more of it. You will never hear me stand up here and play like I'm something other than what I am, or play like I'm on some highfalutin moral crusade when all I'm doing is playing gutter politics. I listened and watched how the Republican Party carried on elections. I watched a member of this body take a bubblehead dial of President Obama and knock it off a fence post. Even Republicans were embarrassed by that.
Senator.
That's the loudest I've heard you speak today, but message received.
Senator McCollister.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to thank my esteemed colleague for defending the older members of the body. I rise in opposition to the Kittner Amendment. The salvation of the state is the watchfulness of the citizen. We all know this famous statement by Hartley Burr Alexander is etched over the north portico of the Capitol. These noble words describe the essence of good practices in government, and an elected body should follow these practices. During my 4 years at the Platt Institute, there was no greater advocate for transparency in government than that group. We started the first website to record the votes of state senators. We also published all the salaries over $100,000 of every state employee. In fact, that quote is so important that we etched that quote and printed that quote on the back of our business cards. I don't believe anybody in this body has promoted transparency more than I have in the last 4 to 6 years. But the vote for committee chairs is fundamentally different. Fundamentally different. These votes are internal organizational procedures and they have no impact on state policy, taxes, or regulations. During the campaign, political campaign we just finished, people gave me the overpowering message: for God's sake, don't make Lincoln, Nebraska just like our federal government. Don't turn that into a partisan snake pit like we have in that city. So I encourage you to vote against this amendment and move the body forward. I yield the rest of my time, Mr. President.
Next, the chair recognizes Senator Schilz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the body, good afternoon. I have sat here and listened to the arguments and the debates intently, and I just want to say that I believe that there are times when discussions need to be had. And one of those times is when we bring the rules to the floor to decide if that's the way we want to conduct business going forward. So, whether you believe in secret ballots or whether you believe in open ballots, that doesn't matter. Because either one is okay. Let's think about it for a second. I came in here under term limits. I knew at most I'd have 8 years. People that came before me knew they had more time. But we all operate under the rules that we're given. And everything moves forward. Tell me this, if we all had open ballots to vote for folks before we all got here, would we think that was a bad thing, or would we just think that's the way it's been done? Now, we all have to be careful, because one of the most dangerous things in the whole world is to say, guys, that's the way we've always done it. And even here, we've shown and we've proven that this is not the way that we've always done it. I understand the reasons for a secret ballot. I know that an open ballot can make people uncomfortable, but I'm pretty sure the vast majority of us put up our names to run for office, which means we took the risk of saying, hey, I'm willing to lose. Folks, if there's any of us up here that take that going forward and decide that they're going to turn into somebody that's vindictive or somebody that doesn't want to play nice with everybody once they find out they've lost a race internally here in the legislature, well, then let's find out who those folks are. Because I can tell you what, if somebody would have run against me for natural resources and those people would have won and I would have known who voted for everybody, well, guess what? Tomorrow I still need to come back with my bills and get 25 votes.